ever put into a position where you're offered to take steroids from the hobo on the street? Well, you think to yourself, no, but most of the time, I think we'd all think that, but it may happen. Well, today I'm going to tell you why it would be bad to take them. Having been close friends with a person who has used them, I can attest to the side effects on the negative side. You think, oh, it won't happen to me, but that's what the hobo wants you to think. During this speech, I will explain to you the effects of anabolic androgenic steroids and why not to purchase them and the consequences of taking them. Okay, first, what are anabolic androgenic steroids? Well, they are synthetic versions of testosterone, which is produced in the male body and a little bit in the female body. They're used for muscle growth, but also can be used in good ways, like when you have AIDS or when you have problems when you don't develop muscles, the testosterone is used to build them up, so it can be used as a good thing. People can use them, doctors prescribe them for knees or elbows, joints, things where you need to build muscle fast. They are not all bad. The NIDA states in its article, what are anabolic steroids? Majority of the steroids misuse is with male weightlifters aged 20 to 35 because they are trying to build muscle fast, and that is where most of the problems happen. So there are very many different types of anabolic androgenic steroids. First, you can have them orally, which means you take them through your mouth. Those are Androl, Oxygen, Dianabol, and Winstrol. Those are all bad ones. I wouldn't take any of them. They're really bad for you. The other ones are injectable steroids, where you get a bottle. You buy this little bottle, it's this big. You get a needle and you shoot them into your arm or other vein. The most common one is Durabolin, where you can find pretty easily on the internet if you do a little bit of research. The effects of AAS. Well, this is going to be a very long list, which is why I do not recommend you take them. So, there are two ways you can take them most commonly. There is cycling, which means you take some for a little bit, test your tolerance, and then you stop for a month. And then you take them again so your body seems fresh to the new drug that they put in. Or you can do stacking, which is adding a little bit at a time each week throughout months or years of your life. The effects that I have read in my articles, all researched by very, very good professionals with big degrees, are paranoia, hair loss, roid rage, which is also known as people get really aggravated really easily, they get really upset, they get all that stuff just from taking them. You get delusions, an enlarged heart, blood clots, kidney problems. In men, you have baldness, shrunken testicles, risks of prostate cancer, and in women, because it is a testosterone, it is used, the female body doesn't produce it very much, so it leads to facial hair, your voice deepens, you have baldness, all that stuff that you basically turn into a guy if you're a woman. So I probably would not do that if I were you. Harkins and Cooper say in the article, Effects of Aas in Athletes, they say, male athletes most often report high acne, more body hair, and increased anger as side effects. In my audience analysis, many of you said kidney problems and heart problems are the main effects of the steroids, and most of you were correct because those are the most leading causes of death problems besides heart problems. Usually people get heart attacks or they die of too much blood, too much overworking of your heart, and that causes you to die. Luckily, from the analysis, many of you still don't want to take steroids, as I had a scale that was a 1 to 5, and many of you put 1 as you would take if you were asked to take steroids, what you would do. And there were 2 wise guys in the class that also said that they would, at a 5, take steroids, which I just don't believe. Another big problem in males is a thing called gyno. It's where you take steroids or anything like that and you start to develop breasts, and that is not something that a lot of males like or want to have, and that's a big problem with powerlifters and bodybuilders trying to compete. So now, why you should not use anabolic steroids? Well, first off, the risk of death is very high. It simply just does not outweigh the gains you can get and put yourself in so much trouble. You may think, wow, I'll just do them for a little bit, I'll get big gains, I'll get all this muscle, I'll do all this stuff and it'll make me look better. but there's underlying effects that you will not notice until you're older. And that's just something you don't want to have when you get older, something that just knocks on your door and says, oh yeah, you remember me when I took steroids? That's not something you want. Another thing is, many bodybuilders and powerlifters, even lately, have died in their 40s and sometimes even upper 30s because they have taken steroids. That's why you just can't put that effect on your family or on anybody else if you take steroids. It's not worth the time and it's not worth the cost. Now, what you should use instead. So the top things that I found when I looked up what you should use instead for muscle growth is protein and creatine. They're both supplements you can buy at Walmart. They're fairly inexpensive, they're pretty easy to use, and they're really easy to get into. They're heavily researched, so they work really well, and they can be found anywhere you want. They're also the most accessible. Like, you can get them at Walmart, you can buy them online, you can buy them pretty much anywhere, and they're proven to do just as much as the steroids, just in a longer amount of time. So if you're willing to take the patience and have the patience to just wait and do your workouts and do your stuff like that, and to just take these steroids take these supplements at the right times, you will have no problem gaining muscles just like the other guys. They're also very safe. That's why they're researched so much. The other thing that you can do if you're not big into supplements is to just find a good split. They say that when you just do something a lot at the same time each day, you build up a routine, you do the routine, you do a good split, all that stuff will also be just as good for you if you want to do this. This is just to speed up your things. All in all, I have told you the effects of steroids and what they are and the types, the alternatives and why not to take them. The hope on the street is just trying to get the bag, and as long as you know how bad it is for you, you'll have no problem denying him. If offered, just say no. The gains do not outweigh the costs, just like my speech title is. Thank you for listening.